we've talked about it, but we haven't seen it, is the Ivern solo lane with like mashes.
True.
And press the attack.
Think
That's
about
a
it.
thing. It's I've seen it exist, and
Faker could hide on bush anywhere.
but Dundun is the player. He is the guy who he would do that. I don't know if it'd be good, but he would.
I know, and it also doesn't matter because it's just fun anyway. Doesn't have to be good if you're having a good time on the Rift.
I think that really personifies this Nongshim roster.
And Dundun in general.
Very, very much so. I feel like he's leading the charge on that front.
Well, Nico and Viego both banned away here by Nongshim. On the red side, T1 have taken away the Cassante and the Milio. Of course, Dundun pretty good at the Cassante, still a worthy flex. And thinking about their final ban here, Annies have been banned in this spot, Sejuani's have been banned in this spot. You could ban the Ivern if you would like to as well. And it's going to be Vi instead. So now, Nongshim, do you let a mystical tree through? Is the question, and it's going to be LeBlanc. So, T1, they can take their tree of choice if they would like to.
They can take Tristana here, honestly.
And Trist, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the play. It means they can pick up the Ivern on 2 and 3. I'm not sure Nongshim would want to pick up the Ivern as a denial. I mean, unless Dundun wants to play a top lane. But usually when you have a jungle, people very much like it paired with this Tristana. But we'll see what they opt for. There is still like the Renekton that's open and available, which has been super high priority. The Sejuani as well. You could just go Renekton, Sejuani and be like, cool. You got a cool duo? We'll get a cool duo.
Exactly. They could also pick Nunu, but they're not going to. They're going to pick Renekton and Poppy, the consideration for Sylvie. This has been a really big pick for T1 as well. I think Oner has really been prioritizing the Poppy a lot, so that will be taken away. I like that they go for a bit of a Nunu hover before they get back towards a tree, and I have a feeling that we're going to get the Ivern. So Oner.
Yeah, Oner typed in tree and was like, no, not this one.
Not this one.
The other tree.
Yep.
In the jungle. That's really strong in the current meta. Yeah, Ivern Tristana, we've seen a lot, really powerful. I do think that, you know, you have the likes of the Poppy and the Renekton who can pose a bit of a threat to the Tristana, but the Ashe comes in very early for T1. Is obviously a flex. I mean, I'm sure we all remember in spring, Keria getting so many POGs, playing these marksman supports. I personally don't rate it in the support role right now. I think so much has changed since then to make it a little worse. But definitely serviceable as an AD carry. It definitely still poses that threat as a flex that Nongshim have to respect. They will just secure that top side. Picking the Azir once more, which, you know, traditionally was a counter, but we've seen quite frequently picked into the Tristana recently.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems like it comes... There's a lot of skill expression in the matchup. Like, we've seen Bulldog solo kill Faker as a Tristana. But then we've also seen, you know, Chovy just be completely fine.
Yeah. With a Poppy, I think the Tristana has a worse time, right? Steadfast Presence really makes rocket jumping quite difficult.
Yeah.
As Rel is going to be banned away here. Of course, like you mentioned, the flexibility of the Ashe. I do really like Ashe in these double AD Ivern compositions because I feel like you don't have very much engage options.
Yeah.
And so Ashe really does help add a bit of that. You can do some shenanigans with Tristana Ashe as well, stun someone up and then buster shot them under a turret, things like that.
Yeah, and I feel like the utility Ashe adds is really impressive. Also, we did actually see, I believe it was D+ play this exact trio, and like the Umbral Ashe just meant you could never have a ward down in the enemy's rushes that they were setting up.
Yeah.
It was very obnoxious, which Ashe tends to be in the support role.
Interesting that we have the Rel and the Alistar both banned. Rakan taken away from Peter as well. He can still emote in his Rakan way, but he won't be able to be Rakan, which is frustrating. Varus also taken away from Jiwoo. And where does Jiwoo go? How deep do we dig into this champion pool?
Still the Kai'Sa available.
Aphelios as well.
Yeah, still. I mean, those are still big prior picks that are on the card, so we don't necessarily have to lean in that direction, but we are going to see the Nautilus come out. So blinding the support, we could honestly see T1 take the likes of the Braum here. Very good into the Nautilus. Very hard to play against as Renekton, as the Poppy, and you have 280 carries on your team already to stack that passive up.
No, it's actually insane. And now I think that Zeus can pretty comfortably move towards Jax if you'd like to. Like, there's a whole lot of options into the Renekton. Top lane Braum, obviously. Zion is going to be the pick.
I like the Zion.
You
have a strong mid-jungle combo, you got a good bot lane matchup, a lot of control along there. Just pick a big frontliner. That's all you need to really round out this composition. And T1 got a very solid front to back right now. Nongshim.
Is it Neela time? Is Jiwoo going to teach Gumayusi a thing or two about playing the lady with the whip in the bottom lane? The answer is yes. All right, he's locking it in. That takes some gusto right there.
Yep. I'm unsure. I think Kiwu is fantastic this pick, but I think it's going to be a hard one. You know, dashing in when you have, you know, 280 carries, stacking up the Braum passive on you. I will say one thing is that you can kind of go for these short engages where they can't stack the passive initially because your W blocks auto attacks. That being said, if you end up in an extended trade, you will suffer. So it's going to come down to execution here for Nongshim. I feel like if they fall behind, they are not going to have a good time. They're going to really struggle in this one. So all guns blazing from minute 1, I think should be the game plan.
We'll see whether they can actually make that one work. Because, of course, with Azir and with Poppy, they're not necessarily the most high-octane as far as mid-jungle is concerned, so it could be hard to get this one rolling. But, have to say, Dundun, he's pulled rabbits out of hats before. And see, right there, being represented. Not going to be playing his Cassante this time around, but he has a Crocodile, you know? It's going to be fantastic. T1, on the other hand, like you say, very well-rounded draft, very drafted for this patch as well, which is fantastic to see. Sometimes we do give criticism to T1 for lack of speed on adaptation. That has happened in the past. This is very much a right now kind of draft. And Oner on the Ivern as well. We'll see how comfortable he's going to look. Certainly a lot of tools for victory here for T1. Nongshim just wanted to make it spicy straight out the gate. We'll see whether they can as we jump onto the rift here for game number 1. All right. Nongshim fans, relatively loud. I like that. T1, of course, making Lore Park erupt as per usual. But I do like, you know, the underdog story seems to be getting to a lot of the fans here at Lore Park as well. It's Nongshim.
They're just a fun team to support.
They are a fun team to support.
You know, I think one of the things is that, you know, you have these top teams that obviously, when they win a lot, that's great. But then if they start losing, you're like, well, this isn't as fun.
Fiesta is going to take a little bit of damage from Faker.
But he got the bone plating, so...
He did, there we go.
But yeah, I feel like with a team like Nongshim, you know, if they lose, that's not why you were supporting them. You weren't supporting them for the wins. You were supporting them because they got good drives. And, oh, very cheeky from Keria. Just take some poke in return, but now Fiesta starting on the back foot in this matchup.
I'm really glad Dunkmaster Ivern has multiple chromas because it's the only Ivern skin that we've seen.
What even is... Oh, there's like the spooky dark one thing. You know, there's that line that like Volibear's one as well. Yep. I don't remember the name. There's that one. And then there's the Candy Cane Ivern.
I don't know. All I know is that this is the only one. As Zeus moves up with, you know, there's a plethora of Scion skins. Like, Scion, different. You get, like, loads of different options. Poppy, very similar. You get loads of different options. Whereas it seems like Ivern is just, which chroma are you going to choose? As Dindin and Zeus just going to hang out with one another.
I mean, I just love the Dunkmaster skin when there's, like, the whistle that comes out when you call Daisy in.
Yeah, that's true. Feels like a substitution.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, it's seen a bit of the power. This Braum Ashe level 1. Obviously, the Neela really needs level 3 before you pose a threat. Level 2 at least. And getting a little bit harassed here. And that's the thing. When you're playing into Neela, you really want to apply the pressure and make her miss CS. Because her passive, you know the shared XP?
Yeah.
It's only if you last it. So if you get zoned off minions, it means you can't get the benefit from that. Because a lot of times, if Neela can do what she wants, they will hit level 3 first. And that is when you can see all in potential. If you're level 3, enemy bot lane's level 2, it can be a bit rough. And it's already a bit rough. 10 CS is the advantage for Gumayusi down there. We're not really checking it out. It is just Neela doing her best to last hit under turret. Struggling a little bit based on what we can see right here. Fiesta trying to hold the wave. Oh, look at that. Conquering Sands does a damage. Cannon, though.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that was... I'm glad the Observer moved away. I didn't want to see more of that. That was rough.
Deary me. Well,
it is on Tristana. Tristana does have the, you know, the explosion.
Yeah, it is.
It does make it.
You can kind of, yeah, upset yourself with that that particular ability. As Oner, it is, and just to confirm, this is just the white chroma of the Dunkmaster as per usual. It's just the only one that we ever see. It's a little bit sad. It's fine.
It's like
I do like the little.
It's like different kits, you know.
Yeah.
Different teams.
Yeah.
But going for white instead of red, which you'd expect with T1. You know, Keria has gone for the Santa Braum, which is fitting. Absolutely, that is perfect colors. But maybe because Nongshim also has red, they were worried that if Oner went the red skin, then they'd get confused, you know?
That's a good point.
Which, I mean, maybe at some point Gumayusi is like, whoa, enemy Braum? Oh no, it's my Braum. They're both red.
That's how it all goes. As Gumayusi just hanging out here in this lane. 15 CS now for Zeus, so he's at least been able to get in and get to that level 3 like you were talking about. Throwing that whip around, having a good time.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that they didn't get like the level 3 advantage, because if you are last hitting, you will get it first, and that's why it can be really threatening. I think as long as nothing really happens in the bot lane 2v2, T1's bot lane is really comfortable, and they will scale up, and they will be in a good spot. I think it's really on Nongshim's bot lane to fish for all-in opportunities. At 6, there is obviously a big spike, a big potential, but yeah, it's just very tricky with the Braum, because if you mess up, if you make a mistake, if Jiwoo's W runs out and, you know, Peter's used his whole combo and the fight's still going, you will lose.
Ooh, speaking of which, Sylvie in position for a counter gank as Oner is thinking about moving in. He will do so. And the Poppy just going home. Really nice positioning here from Sylvie, just in case that gank does actually happen.
Yeah,
he is there to support.
Dundon has to be pushed up there. The wave was too big. Doesn't want it to get frozen, so he has to sort of be able to stand there, and Sylvie just shadowing perfectly. Means nothing comes from it, and the Renekton perfectly happy with that. Already has a cull in pocket, so looking to stack up a little.
Okay. That's going to be a fair bit of damage there onto Fiesta, who takes down to 200. But Faker in a similar boat here. Tristana Azir. We mentioned this in the last series because we saw the exact same matchup. It just feels like both of them sit on about 20% health the whole lane.
That's how it should be, you know. Faker jumps in on the Tristana, procs his bomb, does some damage, and then in the sort of return, Fiesta trades back and kind of equalizes it.
That's how it's been going. As Keria back down to a lonely turret as Gumayusi's gone home, grabbed himself his Berserker's Greaves. And I'm interested in what Gumayusi's going to build as well, because last time we saw Ashe, it was Rageblade. We didn't like that one very much.
Yeah, so I've seen Kraken Rageblade, I've seen Kraken IE, I've seen Shiv Triforce is something I saw
sounds really fun.
play in the LPL and won with, so there are a lot of options, but Gage comes in.
Yeah, Peter's going to find the hook onto Keria, but he's going to give him the door. And therefore, they're able to eat all of it. Oh, there's the flash forward from Peter! Steadfast Presence is down for Sylvie, but everyone just wanders away. As in goes Fiesta, Emperor's Delight onto 2, another hook is going to come through! Peter is going to be emote spamming as well, and Nongshim, they'll grab first blood and a Drake.
Beautiful play there from Fiesta. The flash is banned from Gumayusi to get away from the initial play, but they overstay, they overcommit, and the Azir comes in. Kind of disappointing for Nongshim, that's only 1 kill, but they get the Drake as well. They will absolutely take that.
Absolutely, man. I was not expecting that.
I don't think T1 would either.
Yeah, no, exactly. And there were like 3 different engages, and each of them were great from Nongshim. So really, really well played here from the squad. Fiesta, the beneficiary of this one, but not actually able to pick up the kill. The kill going to Peter is actually very disappointing for Nongshim fans, as Fiesta without an ult. It's difficult for him to trade with Faker here after the rocket jump does come in. And Faker is going to eat through yet another plate. So, even though Nongshim just win a cool fight and everything was great and they have it... Oh, in the meantime, Jiwoo down here towards the bottom side. Sylvie coming down again. As there it is, the Apotheosis, and Gumayusi going to be taken down. That anchor almost stole yet another kill, but this one is going to go over to the Poppy, and Nongshim 2-0.
And that was so well played. Sometimes you see champions, as soon as they hit 6, they go all in. Jiwoo didn't even wait for that. He actually had Peter finish the minion to hit level 6 to really bait T1's bot lane in. Fiesta might be in trouble, though.
He certainly is. As Daisy's coming down, Sylvie trying to get on in here, but the Azir is still going to fall, fighting with Daisy. And she is going to be able to make it out herself. Rocket jump from Faker, and he gets himself back. So, T1 on the board. Peter looking to roam in, does find a ward. So Faker is going to be absolutely fine. And despite all of this, once again, it's another, great little gank towards the bottom side. We're still very even as far as gold. Let's check this out one more time.
Yeah, so Keria gets a shield up here, which makes it very hard for them to commit more. Is quite low on mana. They flash to Gumayusi, but a great flash away stops the Poppy stun from happening. But now they've just burnt that flash on the Ashe. They still commit in. The flash from Oner doesn't even get him away. And Gumayusi is the one taken down. Obviously, Oner does get to walk that one up here. So, Jiwoo still level 5. And watch, he actually goes in and has Peter finish off the minions for his 6. So it really baited T1, thinking they had a little bit more time before that ult comes in, and it just ends up delivering there. Keria just get away with a flash, but really well played there. Good coordination.
Yeah, beautifully done. Demonstrating that Jiwoo has played a couple of games as his Nila at least. Nongshim's stuff. This is what we want. This is what we've been looking for. And I don't think too many people were expecting them to take down T1 here today. I'm already proud of Nongshim and their performance so far. This is our team in 10th place, guys. 1-6 right now. The only team with only a single victory here in the LCK. And we are very close to round 2. Almost every team has been faced. And if you can only get one of those games as a victory, and that was quite a while ago, yeah, it would be pretty sad. So Nongshim performing very well here. They'll need to keep it up though, and T1 are still just kind of absolutely fine. As the game, I mean, there's not even 1,000 gold in it just yet. We're approaching the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, Nongshim are getting this Herald. You know, Zeus actually ults in there. He's going to get some plates here. I think Fiesta's in position to defend mid. But essentially, the signal from when the Siren went bot, it's kind of indicating T1 just aren't feeling like they want to contest this, don't want to risk it. And hopefully, Nongshim can get some good value out of this Herald.
Could use it mid lane, of course.
I think
what's break that turret open. Oh, the listing lazily to the right strategy.
Yep. Not sure if he meant to dodge it or just happened, but it worked. So credit to Fiesta on that one.
When in doubt, give him credit.
Yeah.
You know, so amazing dodge there from Fiesta. Really well played.
Yeah, really smooth, really nice. Yeah, I think using it the Herald mid would be pretty good, especially once you get like static on the Tristana. It becomes quite difficult to push waves in against. They're quite difficult to take this. And also the tier 1 is full health. So if you get second Herald, you'd love it to be a little bit lower so you could actually finish it off.
Yeah, true. Not being able to get a guaranteed couple of plates is a little bit sad. We're going to have a back come through here from Fiesta. Go back and see what he's going to collect for himself. Crown could be done, but no, just going to buy a stick, which provides him with some AP, and then he'll head back to his mid lane once again. Checking in on Peter and Jiwoo here towards the bottom side. We've got a BF sword and some Ninja Tabis, or some plated steel caps, depending on what you're feeling like.
Yeah, considering the rough early start, I mean, this is what you really need if you're playing like Neil Nautilus into Ash Braum. You need that momentum. You need to get some skirmishes to go in your favor. So, you know, it was pretty rough. The early levels, you could see there was a big CS deficit, but thanks to the attention that was brought from the rest of the team and that all-in, Jiwoo's actually in a pretty comfortable position right now. And obviously with Cleanse, the ult from Ash, or even the exhaust from Keria has limited impact.
Yeah, not taking the flash on this Nila here.
I love how, you know, like the sums people take when they're running it down?
Yeah, I know, it's so similar.
I find it so hilarious that it's just, that is actually the ideal sums for Nila. That's just what it is. But it does look like you're sprinting it.
I also love that both teams hovered Nunu multiple times, and then we still get these summoners.
Yeah, I mean, that really would have been a great tribute.
Yeah, to the true disco Nunus of our time.
What an era.
I know.
I don't miss it.
Wasn't it beautiful when Nunu was just Blood Boil autopilot support?
No, not really.
No, you didn't like that? Didn't like watching Moscow 5 just destroying people?
I mean, Nunu is also a bit annoying because I feel like he just snowballs into your lane and in solo queue just works every time. But old Nunu was just obnoxious.
Yeah, no. Old Nunu also just felt like it felt outdated at the beginning of the game. It was very strange. Zeus looking for Dundun. He'll find him before the Slayer comes down. Dundun is going to ult and then just clear out the wave. It looked very Dundun, as he should be able to slice and dice his way back to his turret. That's exactly what he'll do. But the train is going to come in. Zeus is looking for this. Bit of extra damage. Plates will go down in the mid lane.
So they do get that damage there. It's actually Kraken Slayer coming out from Faker. So we're on that. More DPS. We've seen that a fair bit on the Tristana. Just had the fleet footwork though, getting that sustain from that, which normally syncs well with the Shiv. Yeah, looks like it's going to be Kraken first from Gumayusi as well, which is something we've seen a bit on the Ashe. Yeah. Fiesta is just going to dash away. And Zeus actually starting to win out in this top lane matchup. And you know why?
Oh no, he has the item.
He has the Sunfire Cape.
Yeah, he has one of the best damage items in the game.
What are you supposed to do? He just burns you.
Yeah. You hope that everything's going to be okay. His hook is going to connect here as they find Keria door in the wrong direction because he was using it against Fiesta. There's the knock-up. Peter is just dominating in this game. The Nila finds the apotheosis. That is Fiesta locking down Faker. 2 kills for Nongshim in mid lane. And T1, they will trade for plates in the other lanes. But man, Nongshim getting kills, winning fights.
Yeah, and Jiwoo, Nila does so much damage to towers because you can't just Q it. Oh, actually seeing a TP come in here, but looks like it's just going to be a defend. Unless...
Yeah, Fiesta's going to throw an ulti around. Bit of fun there. We're still going to get the flash forward for the heroic charge. Beautifully done.
He distracted him with that sideways ult. Gumayusi's like, what is going... Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah.
You know, it's very effective.
Gumayusi's busy celebrating the sidestep. Didn't see his death.
You know, I think it's very true. If you don't know what you're doing, how can the other team know what you're doing? Yeah, we do see Dundun go down. That was a bit unfortunate, but Keria just, you know, you're on Braum, you feel like you're invincible, but Peter's actually coming from your own jungle. He's just decided, and again, this is what I was talking about earlier. Both these teams have red as one of their main colors. That's the confusion. He's like, oh, it's my oh no, it's the enemy Nautilus who is also red.
Peter has really found some angles today. It's been very impressive. And that was through Ghost as well. So part of the reason why I was able to dodge the Emperor's Divide is the use of that summoner spells.
And then Sylvie goes, no, I'm going to flash slam you into the wall. There will be no outplaying today. No. You won't have fun. It is, you know, this feels rough for Nongshim because they're actually doing really well. And they have 2 dragons. And it's like, you know, if they secured Soul.
Oh, no.
But it's Chemtech. And it's like, well.
Ox, what have you done, man?
I'm sorry.
Every time this week.
It's so. I mean, at least the tenacity is good against like Braum, but it's really underwhelming. Any other Soul, and I would have felt so much better for their chances. But you know, you live with it.
Well, we're here with you, and we've learned, you know, that we have to deal with it.
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. People used to blame me for Clouds, and then everyone realized that Cloud is the best dragon objectively by far. So. Hopefully, we just get to that point with Chemtech as well.
No, Chemtech is bad. They need to buff it.
Yeah, maybe they can do that.
Or rework it.
Well, I mean, how many times would that, like, it's like the 3rd rework?
No, because they had the zombies, and then they had this.
And then, oh, well, like, so it's the 3rd iteration.
Yeah.
That's what we'd get. So
well, is it?
It'd be the second.
It would be the 3rd. It's right now on 2nd.
Yeah.
It would be the 3rd, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the first one was obviously super broken, everyone hated it, and this one's super bad, and everyone hates it. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone nothings it now. As Emperor's Divide, going to get a flash out from Oner. Daisy comes down, Peter in position, the door is in place, decent knock up as the arrow's going to come in. Jiwoo is going to block it, oh my goodness. Okay, Keria going to be the one to fall down here as we got teleports coming in from everyone. Faker going to get hooked, but the buster shot is going to be there still. Faker's taken down, Jiwoo is a monster. Zeus also being put into his zombie form. Nongshim are winning every fight on the map. Orcs, what's happening?
Jiwoo tanks the arrow. He's the 80 carry.
He
body blocking skill shots
into the arrow, and
what
it was good.
It worked. And T1, I feel like, are just underestimating their opponents, thinking, hey, we have Braum, we have 280 carries, you can charge forwards. No, you don't get to do that. You're against Nila. You don't understand, right? You should, because Gumayusi played it, but you're just getting styled on in these skirmishes. And here, see, initially Oner's a bit out of position, does flash the ultimate, but then they're trying to commit to this play. Ash is too far away, though. It's
look
like
at this mega cone.
Yeah, cleanses it.
Goodness.
And look, Keria's dead, and Oner's like half HP before Gumayusi even gets to auto attack, and then they have to back away because the Croc's coming, and just a beautiful up from Peter. I mean, just disjointed, I think, is how I describe T1, but Nongshim looks pretty good.
I think there are 2 ways to look at this moment, right? There is, oh, T1 aren't performing all that well or something like that, or you can look at it as Nongshim are just having the game of the season for them today.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just beautiful to watch. Fiesta's also been playing really well, 3-1 and 4.
You know what it is? This is the final game of the week.
True.
Finals where T1 struggle, you know?
And also finals where Nongshim, as 5th place team, won
Nongshim
last year as this exact roster. Coincidence?
Nongshim have never lost a World Finals.
True. It's all coming together, Ox. We're doing the research right here. We're figuring it out
You can't argue with those figures, with those stats.
You can't. You can't. That is, that's just how stats work. Arrow is going once again.
Just a lazy dodge.
Yeah, it's just the lazy wander to the right strategy. He knows some maneuvers. He does know
playing
some
on the
maneuvers.
controller, that would look like stick drift, you know?
Well, okay, that is a flash Q. Going to land the ulti here as Emperor's Divide after the flash is going to stop Keria from really doing anything. Still manages to get the ult and the flash out from Fiesta. And Gumayusi going to be able to take this turret. And T1, they're not behind by very much at all, really, but that is going to be soul point for Nongshim. And
I wish it was a useful soul.
Yeah, wouldn't it have been great?
I feel like it just makes this game so much more delicate. Like, if this was like a Hextech soul, then it's like, okay, do or die in 4.5 minutes. T1 could just lose the game if Nongshim secure it. But here, it's like, well, you know, even if they get Chemtech soul, you can just go to Elden clip.
And Dunan doesn't even get his Demolish proc.
Oh, that's sad.
That is a bit sad. But
That's why
gonna get out of that.
That's the only little bit of joy that top laners get.
I know.
Is when they get alone time on a tower, they get to demolish it, and they're like, okay, that made it worth all the suffering I usually have to go through by playing top lane.
This made my existence as a top laner worth it. And Dundun didn't even get that. But you know what? I think he's still having a good time because he's Dundun. And they're kind of winning. Right now, it's just Zeus that has an advantage as far as money is concerned. He does have the best item in the game as well.
Yep.
12 CS advantage for Fiesta. Very even between Ju and Gumayusi, but this Neela, as the extra experience, just exists as Neela. That works out very nicely. They'll take an outer towards the top side as well, further extending this advantage. And, you know, I was actually quite quizzical about even the decision to go on red side. And the fact that they R5 Neela shouldn't surprise anyone, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, if Jiwoo has a decent Neela angle, he will take it. But it's just worked. It's worked really well.
Yep, so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, so far. And I'm using this as there's still a high chance that T1 are just going to win this game. But we need to use this moment right here to talk about how fun Nongshim are as a team, right?
Yeah.
Because we haven't had very many opportunities this season.
Yeah. You know, and I don't think this team is a 1-6 team. I think coming in, like, regardless of what happens today in this series, I think second round robin, I could see them getting a few wins under the belt.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that play, and that's the thing, right? This is a pretty inexperienced roster across the board. A lot of fresh faces who haven't had too much time in the LCK, especially when you compare to some of the veterans we have in the league. And, you know, that you can give them time. They are improving. They are getting better. And I think that's what's great to see about this roster is good vibes and the gradual improvement.
And I think that they, you know, they were always good at working as a unit. And I think that as soon as we see this squad get, you know, some of those nerves off their backs, like Sylvie finds a little bit more of the proactivity in the play, they already have a lot of the coordination. As Peter is also landing hook after hook after hook. Jiu is going to find Keria once again, who's not having his favorite day, but Daisy does come down. That is Keeper's verdict going to be utilized here, and Sylvie just going to get himself out of there. So, not really going to see too much more than that. Keria is going to live through this one as well. Meanwhile, here on this bottom side, we're going to check out the top lane matchup. There we go.
Yeah, I love how Dundun goes for the stun and doesn't really do anything. But he's like, I need to do this. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
I do think we are starting to see how if Nongshim kind of approach T1 front on, it's going to be quite tricky, right? Through the Braum, through the Scion. It will be a bit problematic regardless of the fact they have a lead. So hopefully they keep looking for these creative approaches and trying to pick off members, find them when they're isolated. Good control ward comes down. There's a sneaky ward there when you have it just outside the pit. If you put a control ward in the pit, it won't catch it. So they clear it out. But it looks like T1 going to try and re-establish some vision here.
Yep, poking his head out of the brush is Oner. I'm not going to be removing any of this scuttle vision, though, that Nongshim were able to secure. So there's at least that 1 minute on this Chemtech Soul for Nongshim. T1, they could take that one away, but also T1 could do the other thing, which is let Nongshim have it and then flip in 5.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. Well, look at the spikes. There are some decent spikes coming in. We have the Devori coming for Faker. We have the IE for Gumayusi. So going for that Kraken IE build, which I prefer to the Ginsu.
Yeah, I like it a lot more.
Quite a bit more damage. But no LDR, no sort of defensive item yet. Does mean that the Ashe is a little bit vulnerable. Everyone does have all summoners up, though. So if they are opting to fight, may well end up being quite... oh, not again, Keria.
Well, Keria not going to get stunned. He's able to just walk it out. He'll be fine.
Take some damage from that Sunfire.
Yep. We're not going to have a look at his skills. We're going to have to click off. Click off. Orcs is not allowed to see that. Not allowed to see that. Not how that one should happen. There's teleport onto Daisy. Keria in a little bit of trouble. Does flash for the ult. Doesn't find it. There's the flash out from Fiesta. Eats the exhaust as well. Heroic charge. That'll take down Keria. But can they get onto the rest of T1 is the question. Daisy's taken down as well. And Nongshim, with this one kill, can they just go to Baron?
Maybe. You know, they have...
Okay.
They're trying to bait T1 in. Dundun's on like a flank angle. Look at the control wards. If they push in too aggressively, Dundun is there on that flank.
Depth charge still available. Apotheosis still available. There are a lot of tools. For Nongshim still here. Hook is going to land there onto...
Oh!
There's the Apotheosis onto 4 into the backline. Jiwoo, an absolute monster. Faker gonna rocket jump his way out though. Peter lands another hook. Fiesta going relatively low, but it's a big crocodile that will find Faker here. Still, they are able to escape. They're heading every which way, but it is going to stop the Baron. Looks like it's going to be Soul that Nongshim will settle for. But how did kind of like no one die and Jim hit 4 people with an ult? That's not
That
fair.
was the sickest play I've seen when no one has died.
Right?
It happened and then they kind of just all flashed away. And T1 now have no flashes, but we'll see. I think you just give up the Dragon, honestly. They might try.
Yeah, Hook is going to miss here as Daisy comes down. That's going to be the steal. Emperor's Divide does nothing. The door is set up here as Dundun looks to get in. He will be able to dash his way out as Arrow is going to connect. And I think it's going to be sacrificial Croc here. T1 will be able to take him down. Can they get anything else, though, is the question. The answer is going to be no, unless they just head towards the Baron themselves.
No TP on Dundun. 40 seconds on that death timer. And you have a Scion and an Ivan. You can tank Baron indefinitely. This is going to look like one of those T1 Barons. They can start it up, and we'll see if they can find an angle to turn it. I don't think they want to go for the 50-50 because Sylvie does have Hex Flash over that wall.
Yeah, as Daisy's going to dive on top of Peter. He's not going to be able to find anything. Jiwoo is alone. Still going to be able to dive in there. Jubilant Veil is just not it, though. And T1 back to the Baron now. Very sad for Nongshim. Felt like they just had to play so much harder to get all of their advantages, and now they've all kind of evaporated as T1 deny the soul, grab themselves Baron, grab kills on the bottom lane that were doing so much work. And let's have a look at this fight one more time.
Yeah, this is why Braum isn't an engaged champion, even though Keria tries to make it one. It doesn't work out very well, and Nongshim find that advantage and go for the Baron bait in this situation. The problem is, because we saw that big lull in the mid-game, we didn't see Nongshim push their momentum. Everyone had their summoners back up, so imagine this same play if T1 don't have flashes. It is game-ending.
Oh, man.
But they all flash out. You see triple flash there, and then no one dies, and that's the difference, because they weren't constantly pushing, trying to get these summoners, burning them, and then when the fight comes, when the engage comes, they end up in a sad situation where a great play isn't rewarded.
Let's see whether another great play is going to happen here as Daisy's knocking people all over the rift and just dealing with Faker as best he can. Megacone to try and get the Renekton out of there. Keeper's Verdict does a decent amount of work as they get a double knock-up from Peter. Keria's dead once again. Emperor's Divide onto Gumayusi going to be taken down, but it's traded for the Azir. Buster shot onto Jiwoo is fantastic, and now it's Sylvie by himself. 3 versus 2 now as there are Barons still around T1, and Oner feel like he's just starting to manipulate the battlefield with all of these shields. And Faker as a secondary AD carry. Doesn't matter if Gumayusi dies.
Yep, you have the front line and the side.
Oh dear,
no.
Jiwoo's going to have to dash. Does do so to get himself out of there. He will survive, has his Ghost available, but no ulti. Jubilant Veil, of course, is very, very helpful, but he's got a very long cooldown as well. LDR is now done, but might be a little bit too little too late as the inhibitor is going to go down in the mid lane. T1 will now go back, look for a bit of a reset, spend some of that gold. Speaking of which, it's not a huge lead, but the map advantage is just gigantic right now for T1.
Yeah, and we'll see a bit of a replay. This fight went on for such a long time. You know, you find these like initial pockets, you find like a window to punish Zeus, you find like a little bit of an engage where Keria ends up getting punished, but it's still a struggle to really get onto this backline. And the big thing, despite everything, despite the fact that Keria goes down, despite the fact that they get Gumayusi, you still have this beefy Scion who's too tanky for them to cut through. You still have Oner providing constant shields and rushes, and you have Faker, the most important member, still alive, with that Tristana just right-clicking on everyone's head.
Yep. And he is really starting to hurt. 3 items and a cheeky little Vamp Scepter as Peter's going to land another hook, but he's taking so much damage. Keeper's Verdict is going to break up the fight, though. Knock up onto Keria as Zeus will be shredded down. It takes about 4 years in order to get there, and it's a 1-for-1 in the end. Daisy jumps over the wall, though, and Nongshim, they are not done yet. They're looking for more. The root caller is not going to land, and now Fiesta could be in trouble. That is a flash dash forward from Keria, who is doing some things this game. Not entirely sure, I'm not fully understanding it, but maybe I just don't have a brain large enough to.
Not an engaged champ. Braum is not an engaged champ. You sit on your back line, you block stuff, you apply passive. Sometimes maybe you find a null, but I think Keria's maybe trying a bit too hard to get some of the POGs, trying to make up for lost time.
Yeah, maybe square peg round hole type situation. You know, it's a Braum, let it be Braum.
Yeah, I think that's the lesson we take from this one. Nongshim going to clear up some of these waves. Fiesta getting quite strong, and that's important because realistically, Jiwoo is very hard to kill compared to your traditional AD carry. As a kneeler, the W makes it really hard. You also have so much sustain from your ultimate and shielding, but not the greatest at tank shredding. No. And that is why it's important that Fiesta is starting to get some items behind him, getting some farm, because he is the one who has to cut through this Scion realistically.
And he does have Leon as well, which is good for that.
Yep.
Definitely a decent anti-tank option, as Gumayusi does have his Runon's Hurricane completed as well, so 3 items for the Ashe. And still the same ones for Faker as well, as Daisy's going to be called in. Sylvie going to have to get out of there. Another arrow is going to go wide. They get a stun onto Zeus, who's taking a lot of free damage. Hook is going to pull him back, and now, this time, Keria gets into the back line. The damage is just not quite there from T1, though, as Faker dives on in, but he's going to be punished. Fiesta survives for so long as Dundun is golden. He's trying to tank in that front line. Will be oh, never mind. Dundun survives. Fiesta not going to be so lucky, as Zeus getting taken down incredibly low. Sylvie, Jiwoo, and Peter still trying to get out of there, but looks like Keria is going to live. The Zombie Scion comes in. In goes Sylvie. He looks for it. It's a double kill. As Jiwoo locks down the Braum, the Ashe will go down as well, and Oner could just look on in horror as Nongshim win another fight.
Such a hectic fight, and it feels like it's constantly coming down these inches. Oner still has the smite and the root call if he wants to look for this, and Nongshim will pull out. Super minions in the base. But I think Oner's not going to go with the steal. They will secure the Chemtech Soul again. Not the most impactful, but a definite big boost for Nongshim on the back of that teamfight win. And we've seen the replay, so a lot invested here with both the ult from the Scion and the Ashe missing. And then here, you actually see Faker go very aggressively, trying to find an angle, gets ulted back in, burns the flash, but the stopwatch ends up baiting him, and they all just collapse on him.
Yeah, and Dundun was just there to tank and had the stopwatch.
Yeah, I mean, they do get the Azir down, which is significant, but that ult for the Poppy, so good from Sylvie, knocking away the Ivern. Don't think he could have gone for it. I mean, maybe Gumayusi probably would have been the best target, but still, super impactful, denying all that shielding, and then here, the Blast Cone re-engage. Brendan Valdez, if you're watching this, you are molding right now.
I know, I was going to say, thank goodness it's his day off.
But he has said at least he prefers when people go in with him rather than go out.
That is true. If you're denying action, it's bad. If you are making action, it's good. Sylvie definitely made it happen in that last fight. We're setting up Sand Soldiers and Brushes. And Nongshim just wanting to set up that phalanx as best they can. Dundun's not here, though. They go for the engage anyway. Jiwoo dives in. Not the best engage they've had, but they're still not taking all that much damage. Dundun will arrive, and he's like, oh, just ignore me, guys. I'm chilling out to the left of this fight. Daisy will be the first casualty, but that is about it. So a lot of buttons now that have been pressed here on both sides of the map. Not a lot of flashes remaining. It's only Oner with his on the side of T1.
Still 3 ults remaining for Nongshim, whereas T1 have used all of theirs. So in terms of ult economy, Nongshim have a bit of an edge there, but I feel like lacking the Neela ult, super impactful, and the cleanse also down. It's going to be pretty hard to approach. Dundun might be in trouble here.
They're going to get the speed up from the boosted up Honey Fruit, but he will make it into the brush. And Nongshim now with their Chemtech Soul. Can they actually get some control around this Baron is going to be the question. They're going to need one of those. T1, they picked up the last one. This game is entirely 100% even. Outside the fact that there are a few more dragons on Nongshim's side, could go either way. We'll see whether the Wombo combo is going to happen once again. Dundun in a side lane has teleport available. Zeus does not have his. Faker does. He's going to use it. And the train is looking for the crocodile. He does avoid it, as there is the ulti, but I don't think Dundun's going to be able to keep himself alive for that long. T1 a split, though. The Baron has been started. Nongshim trying to play the mind game.
They just let the croc go.
Yeah, T1 are just going to move back towards the Baron. They want to stop it. They're going to say thanks for the leash. How is this working? This is insanity as the arrow is going to connect. Pretty tenacious, but not quite enough. As in goes Jiwoo, he finds the backline. Gumayusi's in trouble now, and he will be taken down. Poppy steals away the Baron as well. Fiesta takes down Keria, and Nongshim, I think they've done it here in Game 1.
This might be enough. It's still some strong members left on the side of T1 with the mid jungle, but it's against 5 members of Nongshim who are looking to push up with this Baron. Still a lot of damage they need to do. They are tanking the tower, keeping the minion wave alive, and there's another coming in. This might be enough. Nongshim might be able to get this Game 1 win.
That's going to be the mid inhibitor turret going down. The inhibitor wolf will fall as well. Faker and Oner together. Can they make this one happen? Nongshim, all 5 members. Dundun's already ulted. They are getting on top of these Nexus turrets. Faker's going to be taken down. That will be Nexus turret 1, Nexus turret number 2, and Nongshim, they will go up 1-0 against T1 tonight.
And you know, I think for a lot of that game, we didn't really believe.
Nope.